support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps you protected when shopping online. Get $5 to try it now by using promo code QZZ2J.
Well, we have our next guest here. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
All right. My name is Ruben. I'm an audio engineer. I work with a company called Nomono, based in Trondheim, Norway.
All right. And tell me about Nomono.
Okay. Nomono is the company that sort of invented this thing.
Okay.
The Nomono Sound Capsule. The Nomono Sound Capsule is a spatial audio production kit.
All right. Wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah. Everybody knows that spatial audio is difficult to get into. There's a lot of know-how. There's a lot of plugins and stuff like that you have to know how to utilize.
Yeah.
But our target was to lower that threshold, make it really easy for anyone to make spatial audio content. So even a 5-year-old could take this equipment, go out and make a spatial audio production and make it sound good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting little box. I am seeing what appear to be 4 microphones around the outside. Nice screen on top. Couple of buttons. Power button looks like maybe, or a record button because it's red. Never mind. Whoop, definitely a record button. Up and down, either for navigation or maybe volume.
Yeah, it's like menu navigation, although it's really, really simple. You don't ever have to go into the menu, actually.
Fantastic.
So I guess I can give you the sort of lowdown here.
Sure.
This here is what we call the space recorder.
Okay.
It's the interface between the user and the sound capsule. It's the receiver for these 4 lav mics here. So these are magnetic, so they can clip on with a magnet like this.
Fantastic.
Easy to put them anywhere. They also have the good old alligator clip, so put it like that. But it's also a spatial audio microphone. So it's ambisonics microphone. So this guy is recording the environment that you're in 3D. Then these guys are recording the dialogue. So you put them on the people. So now you have your ambience and you have your spot mics for the people. It's also tracking the positioning data on the stellar mics. So the space recorder knows where these microphones are positioned relative to it. And then it gathers all of that information as metadata. And once you hit the stop button on your space recorder, after you've done your recording, everything is sort of sent over to this guy and up into the cloud as a sweet little package.
And then it's able to put the vocals where they belong in the world?
Yeah, so when you listen back, it's like your head is positioned where this guy was during the recording.
Okay.
And there's also, in the software, there's denoising. There's crosstalk reduction, so it will remove your voice from my mic and vice versa.
Got it.
There's an EQ matcher. There's an adaptive leveler, a compressor basically, that is able to only compress the dialogue and look away from the noise floor. So even if it's compressing the dialogue, you won't hear the noise floor pumping up and down.
Got it.
And then there's a loudness normalizer. So everything comes out at -18 LUFS. So it's basically broadcast ready once it comes out. And it's a binaural stereo file. So you have your spatial mix.
Front?
No, actually, that's the front.
Okay, so front. So you said it's where your head is. So
yeah, when you listen back to it afterwards, it doesn't matter where you place this.
Okay.
But usually you would place it in the middle of the conversation.
But you said it's like your head is where this thing is.
Yeah, when you
listen for the audio. Yeah. So this would be the face?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here, so if we were to use it here, let's say, we could put it here.
Yeah.
We'd each put on a microphone, and that would be the front side of the audio, and this would then be the back side of the room.
If you placed it like that, you would hear me out on the left and you out on the right, a little bit more to the right than I was on the left.
Okay.
So, and also there's a lot of like hidden potential in the box. We've designed it so that we can keep updating it for years to come. It won't be outdated in 2 years. For example, we have been able to use this as a conference microphone because it's a spatial audio mic. We can, after the fact, create a virtual shotgun microphone that automatically points to the person speaking.
Sure.
Yeah, so you just put it in the middle of the table, start talking, and the virtual shotgun will sort of point at the person talking.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and
wow.
Excuse me, the processing that we do is completely world class. You can't compare it to competing products. You can't compete it to professional products that are used in post-production houses around the world.
Okay.
For example, the denoiser is able to reduce the noise floor by 16 dB without introducing any artifacts.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, now that's impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, and everything is built in-house.
So it's designed for this room, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, we could make a really good sounding podcast right out here on the floor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Love to see that in action.
Yeah, and then you have your clean voices, and then you have your spatial ambience that you can just blend into taste. So if you're in an interesting location, you want some of that ambience.
Right.
But your dialogue tracks are completely clean, so you can just blend that ambience into taste, and you'll have a really immersive sounding podcast.
So what kind of price point are we talking about on this?
It's $2,490.
Okay.
And then there's a 20% discount right here at CES.
Very cool. That must mean that it's already available?
Yeah. We've sold hundreds of units already.
Nice.
It's available on Amazon and from our homepage.
So let's talk about some of the tech stats, battery life. Because obviously everything's running on a battery right now.
Yeah, so battery life is really good on this thing. This base unit here is a big battery.
Oh, okay.
So everything charges from the base unit. So if everything is fully charged, you can easily record for 3 full days without recharging the battery. So you can take everything with you. It's charging while you're moving between location. You can open it, record, and you're good to go to the next one. And you can do that many, many times. Like we had, it's a British podcast, We Are Makers. They traveled across the US interviewing different makers in their shops. And they recorded 36 episodes on one charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I put this on right now, how long until it's done?
Until it's like empty the battery? 12, 15 hours.
Okay. So I could do a whole day of our broadcast without having to go pop it back on the charger.
Yeah.
Theoretically, same with this, but it could probably live in there anyway.
Yeah, so that one...
Looking at our studio here, right?
Yeah, so this guy, maybe 10 to 12 hours, and these are like I put it in record and just left for the night. And when I came back the next day, it was still recording. 10 hours later. So I don't really know, but it's at least 10 to 12 hours.
So you've got personal experience. You've seen it go overnight, came back, still recording, all good.
And so if you record more than 4 hours, it's going to separate into chunks.
Yeah.
But you can record one recording for 4 hours without it separating it in the cloud.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That would be a really fun experiment.
Right.
In here.
And one more thing about these Stellar mics, which is really cool, is that they have internal memory. So the range on these microphones are about 20 meters.
Okay.
Or 20 yards, 24 yards maybe. But if you step out of range, they start recording internally. So they have a 45-minute buffer in here.
Okay.
So you can be out of range for 45 minutes, come back into range. It starts transferring again. When the buffer is empty, you can step out of range again for 45 minutes.
Gotcha. Very cool. So it just dumps back to the to the primary.
Yeah. So you could leave this running here, and we could walk around the floor here, come back and have a little talk, and then go back out on the floor. Yeah. So
I was just watching the charger interact with this.
And it's also really foolproof. The dynamic range on these microphones are extreme. So we've fine-tuned the sort of area in that dynamic range that we're recording in. That means you can whisper and you can scream, and it's still going to sound great.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
How can people find out more?
They can go to nomono.co, which is our homepage, and you'll find all the information there.
Fantastic.
And of course, we're on all the social medias, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. And then you'll also see some content from people who's already purchased and sort of taking it for a test. We have a guy in California who took it for a drive with his windows open and just driving around on the highway and stuff with his kid.
See,
that's pretty entertaining.
That's 100% the kind of thing like I would go do immediately.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of fun to test it. You can go into the woods. You can go. I mean, We Are Makers did a whole podcast right next to a waterfall, and it still sounds decent. I mean, in those extreme noisy environments, it's going to start being a little bit of artifacts and stuff like that. But it still sounds incredible to be that noisy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming up and showing this off. It's a really cool product, and got my mind going.
Yeah.
See, that's the dangerous part about CES.
You should come down and check out our booth. We'll give you a demo, what it sounds like. You can take it for a spin if you like.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
The Tech Podcast Network CES 2024 coverage is executive produced by Michelle Mendez. Technical directors are Kurt Corliss and Adam Barker. Associate producers are Nancy Ertz, Clinton Millsap, Sergio Velasquez, and Terry Willingham. Voiceover by Aaron Hurst. Our hosts are Marlo Anderson, Don Bain, Todd Cochran, Scott Ertz, and Christopher Jordan. Studio and equipment are provided by PLUGHITZ Productions. This has been a Tech Podcast Network broadcast, copyright 2024.